guys, it's Quana back again with another review. Hope you guys are doing awesome. Let's dig right on in and talk about M. Night Shyamalan's movie, Trap. This movie came out in 2024 and it stars Josh Hartnett. It is currently in theaters, but I'm sure it'll be streaming soon. And it is about a man who goes to a pop idol's concert with his daughter, only to find out that he is in the midst of a trap being set by police to catch a serial killer. Now, spoilers a little bit for this movie. However, most of this was spoiled in the trailer, which is that Josh Hartnett is playing said serial killer. And we are going along this ride with him to see if he is going to be caught by the feds, as he has been committing these crimes and is being set up to get caught at this concert event that he is attending with his daughter. The movie also stars M. Night Shyamalan's own daughter, Shaleka, who is playing the pop idol Lady Raven. And it also stars Hayley Mills. You guys will remember Hayley Mills from the original Parent Trap. She was also in the show Saved by the Bell back in the day when it was still Good Morning Miss Bliss. And it also has Allison Pill, who I love as an actress, but I couldn't stand her in season 1 of Them, and so she is on my list. Listen, Josh Hartnett does a phenomenal job playing a serial killer. He has really leaned in to playing these psychotic characters. I really enjoyed his episode of Black Mirror. It was one of my favorite from season 6, which was a really weak season in my opinion, but his episode was one of the standout episodes. That said, this movie felt more like a comedy than a thriller, and I found myself laughing a lot during the first hour of the movie, and then after about minute 65 it began to drag considerably. I don't know if the intention of M. Night Shyamalan was to make a thriller comedy. Certainly Knock at the Cabin plays with that idea a little bit more, and so maybe he is leaning more into the idea of merging these two genres because his work is no longer as serious as it was in his earlier years. But I feel as though in order to know whether or not that is the intention of a filmmaker, it really is going to lean very heavily on the publicity around the movie to kind of get an idea of, is that the direction they were trying to lead in. I found myself laughing at parts that I think were intentionally comedic, but then also laughing at parts that I don't know if they were intentionally comedic, such as, which I'm going to consider a slight spoiler, but I just won't tell you when it happens. There is an appearance by Shyamalan himself in the movie, and if you know what he looks like, it may take you out of the movie momentarily. If you don't know what the director looks like, it won't bother you whatsoever. But if you're familiar with the director, it definitely took me out of the movie. Like, oh, not only do we have a movie where he has casted his daughter as a lead, but also he's in the movie. Great. And so that took me out of the movie, not gonna lie, momentarily, and I had to kind of like dig my way back into it. This movie is resting solely on the shoulders of Josh Hartnett. There is little to no development of any of the other characters, and at times it felt like maybe this was a movie that was simply a nepotism vehicle for his daughter, who is both an actress and a singer. And listen, I thought that the songs that what we could hear of the songs that she performed in this movie were lovely. I thought that her performance in the pop idol arena was good, but when she shows up on camera in the second half and she's just acting and no longer singing, you feel it. You feel the shots where she's in the camera and she's trying to cry, and you feel the effort behind that. Took me out of the movie at times. I also felt like you have someone like Hayley Mills making a return to the screen in this movie, and it felt like the movie didn't know what to do with her. I really wanted, if we were going to have these other characters kind of be more integral roles, for it to feel a little bit more like Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio, where you're still rooting for the bad guy essentially, but you learn about the person, the federal agent who's trying to capture him, and you kind of don't know who you want to win. In this movie, you're following a serial killer, and as the audience, you don't want to be rooting for the serial killer, and yet because there's no other character aside from maybe his daughter that you're attached to, you find yourself rooting for the serial killer. And it's a very odd predicament to be in. And then when things play out and they come to their inevitable conclusion, you really don't know how you feel about the movie as a whole. And so that's kind of, I left the theater just kind of very uncertain about how I was feeling about the movie, whether I enjoyed my experience or not. I don't know. I think I liked parts of the movie, the first half, 45 minutes of it, and then at about the somewhere between 55 and 65, I started looking at my phone. And then towards the end, when we get back to Josh Hartnett, Allison Pill together, I was back in it. But there was just a lot of things that were in this movie that were really dumb. Things that the agents and the cops and everyone around the movie were doing. It's a lot of moments where they're jumping the shark, where it's like, that would not happen if this was a real life situation. And it really just felt like a lot of stupid decisions were being made by people who would not be doing those stupid decisions because the stakes were so high on their end, instead of it being just, this is how intelligent and how crafty this guy is. If it was just about how crafty and smart he was, that would be wonderful. But because it's like, he's crafty and smart, but also people are doing dumb things that they would not be doing in real life if this was a real life situation, that just felt very comical. I saw someone on X say that it feels like a big budget production Tubi movie, and I kind of agree with that. Like, cinematography was great. Josh Hartnett was wonderful. The dynamic between him and the daughter, her name is Riley, by the way, made me think of Inside Out, was great. That part was great. And then when we get to Allison Pill's character later on in the movie, her performance was really strong. In terms of those people, you could just tell, strong actors who are currently acting, so they knew what they were doing and probably did not have to be guided so much. Everyone else, you could feel it. You could feel them acting in the movie. It did not feel as seamless as one would like it to feel. And so for that, I kind of have to give the movie a C-. If you are making the decision to go to the theater this weekend and you haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, go see Deadpool and Wolverine if you are a fan of Deadpool humor. Because you will probably enjoy the experience of that more, because that is a much more of a theater movie. This feels like you could see it at home. It didn't feel like anything I had to see, even though I was really keeping my fingers crossed. It's better than The Last Airbender, so I'm not going to say that this is the worst M. Night Shyamalan project, but it just feels like he's trying to recapture the magic of The Sixth Sense and give us a twist, and he's sacrificing the story, the development of the characters, and everything else to create twisty moments that are unnecessary at times. And so for that, those moments took me out of the movie. If this was a Tubi movie, I probably would have been cracking up in stitches and would have had a great time. But now is your turn to let me know what you think about the movie. If you've seen it already, let me know in the comments. If you have questions and you want to get into more spoilers, we can certainly do that down in the comments. Let me know what you think. I would say if you're waiting and you have to make a decision between some of the movies that are out right now, save your dollars and your ducats and wait till this comes out on Peacock. But otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, toodles.